How to flip a house step by step. Flipping houses looks chaotic, but the process is surprisingly predictable. I'm going to walk you through the exact step-by-step framework that we've used to do over 1,200 flips and counting. In this video, I'll show you the roadmap so you can stop guessing and start flipping. By the end of this video, you're gonna get a simple, repeatable, step-by-step process to use for your flips. While YouTube is great and educational, there's obviously no way I'm gonna teach you how to do a complete house flip in a quick YouTube video. That's what our channel is for. Spend some time on our channel if you wanna learn more about it. Come see us in person, come to one of our live events, whatever you wanna do, that's fine. But I wanna give you an overview right now, more of a framework so you know exactly how we have flipped over 1,200 houses, and we still do over 100 houses a year using this framework. So let's dive in. It's a simple 5-step system. I'm gonna teach you how to find, how to fund, how to fix, how to flip, and how to hold houses, because the holding part is how you build tremendous wealth. But let's start with how to find houses. One of the biggest mistakes new people make when they come to me is say, I want to flip a house. I say, good, what kind of house you want to flip? They say, well, I don't know. Well, if you don't know what kind of house to flip, how do you even have any idea what you're looking for? So I want you to first define your buy box. Your buy box is what specific type of house are you looking for? If you narrow down your focus, you will narrow down your search. Most new investors throw a net way too wide. They're looking at every deal that gets brought to them, and before you know it, they are overwhelmed in 2 seconds, and they do nothing. When we're overwhelmed, we freeze. When we freeze, we don't get any closer to our goals. So narrow it down by coming up with a buy box. What neighborhood do you want to buy in? I recommend strongly that you find 5 square mile, 10 square mile, or 1 square mile area around where you live. The closer to your home, the better, and start to own that neighborhood. What I mean by own is understand all of the properties that are for sale. Understand the different neighborhoods. Understand where inside there, maybe street to street, things change. Sometimes cities and jurisdictions change from one block to another. Understand what the income levels are, what the house prices are. Start to own those neighborhoods. You can do that from the comfort of your home with Zillow. Just learn about the neighborhoods by drawing out your buy box. Then figure out what kind of house do you want to flip. In the early days, Amber and I would target homes that were built in the 1940s or 1950s. They really had not been fully updated yet. If they were, they need to be updated again. And they were a smaller home. And we got really good at taking a 2-bedroom, 1-bath or a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, converting the attic into a master suite, and turning it into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a master suite. It was beautiful. And that was something we became known for. So we looked for those types of houses. And when we walked into that house, we knew, baby. We knew we were on the money when we saw the house because we had defined our buy box. We knew it was about 1,500 square feet. We knew what streets we like. We knew what neighborhoods we like. So when somebody called and said, I've got a deal for you, would you like to see it? I knew I wanted to buy that before I walked in the door. The only thing that I had to figure out from that point on was how much was I going to pay for it? And that was a whole different video, which you can find on our channel. But this is the framework as to how to find a house. You find your house. Now you have to fund your house. There are so many different ways to fund a house. Again, I do weekend-long workshops on how to do this. But for this video, just know that you're going to use OPM. You're going to use other people's money to fund your deal. If you're trying to do it with your own money, unless you are loaded, you'll be out of money very quickly. You may have enough money for 1 or 2 flips. But if you don't use your own money, you'll be able to scale much faster and feel like you're not risking everything you've worked for. Let somebody else get a piece of the pie. In other words, when you have OPM or other people's money, they are making interest too. So they are happy, you are happy. You don't have to use your own money. You have your cash that you have set aside for protection, for cash flow and everything else you need, and life goes on. So use OPM to fund your deals. If you don't use a hard money lender or private lenders, you can then look into things like creative financing. Creative financing is when you have the owner hold the paper, or you do what's called a subject to, where you just take over existing payments on somebody else's existing mortgage on a property. It's another way that you can finance a house. You can use credit cards, you can use your HELOC. There's so many ways to do it by using OPM or other people's monies. Then you go into fix. When it comes to fixing, don't do the work yourself. Don't be a doer, be a delegator. Now, you may say, yeah, but Glenn, I'm really good at tile. Well, good for you. That's not where you make your money. You shouldn't be doing any kind of work in the house yourself. You shouldn't be getting your friends together and come out and say, listen, we're going to have a paint party this weekend, guys. I'm going to buy the pizza. They don't want to help you. I promise you. They might do it because they love you, but they don't want to do it. And you shouldn't be doing it either as a professional. You've got more important things to do. You make the most money as a real estate investor when you find the next deal. and you buy it cheap enough. So get good at finding, get good at buying. That's where you should spend your time. When it comes to fixing, you're gonna manage. You're gonna put together what's called a scope of work. You're gonna put together an exact payment schedule where you pay the contractor in phases. You have a contract you have with the contractor, and you manage the project. You don't do the project. You've got more important things to do with your time. Even if you're a contractor, it's going to be really hard for you to delegate, but I would encourage you to learn how to delegate. Go make money doing what you do. Let somebody else make money doing what they do. That's what keeps the economy rolling. So delegate everything in the fixing. When it comes to the actual flip, list that with a real estate agent. Now, I go over ways to find deals where you actually have real estate agents bringing you pocket listings before they ever hit the open market. And by the way, I don't think I covered it, but you want to find off-market deals inside of your finding system, your buy box. You want to find off-market deals. One of the ways I teach there is to do what's called a triple commission strategy, where you actually offer a real estate agent triple the commission. So you can say, if you bring me a deal before it goes on the MLS, that's the key, and I buy it, you can keep the seller commission they're going to pay you. You can also sell it for me when I'm done fixing it. You get that commission. Oh, and by the way, I'll give you $2,000 as a bonus for bringing the deal to me as soon as I close. You do that because you want them thinking your name every time a hot deal that's in your buy box comes across their desk. So let's go back down to flip. And that same agent will then turn around and flip that house or sell it for you. Stay out of negotiations, let a professional do it for you. You might think you're saving money by trying to sell it yourself, you're not. I'm really good at sales, and I was unable to sell my very first flip, and I moved right into using an agent. And now we own our own brokerage because we do over 100 deals a year. It just makes sense to have our own brokerage. But it's important to have professionals do that work for you. And then of course, the last but not least is holding. Find, fund, fix, flip, and then hold. The hold part is really flipping the house to yourself. It's just a subcategory of flipping. And when you hold real estate, it is how you build tremendous wealth. In our videos, at our trainings, we talk a lot about just being consistent. If you can consistently buy 2 houses a year with what I call the buyer method. Now, this is a really high, fast overview. You've maybe heard of the BRRRR method before, where you buy, then you renovate, then you rent, then you refinance, then you repeat. Well, the buyer method is our unique method. We buy with instant equity. That's the BIE. We buy with instant equity. It means we buy it cheap enough where we already have money in the bank. It's like opening up an account at a bank and it already has $25,000 in it when you open the account as a thank you. So we buy with instant equity, then we renovate the house to rent, which is different than a full renovation. Then we rent the house out. We actually give it to a property manager. We rent it out. Then we refinance, take the cash out of that property, pay off our lenders, and we repeat that process. If you could just do that twice a year for the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, you'd retire as a multi-millionaire just because of appreciation and tenants paying down your debt. It's the best way in the world to build a nest egg without putting any of your own money in, just some sweat equity and some work on your part. So that's a simple 5-step program to flipping houses. Find, fund, fix, flip, and hold. Again, I spend days diving into the details and the nuances of each one of these things, but I would encourage you to remember this. If you can just be consistent and repeat that process, if you were to flip a house a year and make an extra $50,000 to $75,000 for that flip, is it worth your time to learn more about it? For me, that's a yes. That's a strong yes. And if we could also hold a couple houses a year and build tremendous wealth and be a multimillionaire inside of 5 to 10 years, is that worth it? I think that it is. But using this framework is key, and just keeping it simple. This step-by-step process only works if you buy the right house in the first place. Go check out my next training, The Crucial Step New Real Estate Investors Always Miss, where I'll teach you exactly how to set up your buy box and dive into how to fund the deal correctly. The link is right here in the description below. Go check it out now.